Step outside. Right now!
You haven't even explained why you're here in the first place.
I said step outside. Don't make this situation more difficult than it has to be.
Without a warrant, you don't get to come into my home. Fourth Amendment, I'm not stepping out.
This is your last chance.
Officer Brian Whitaker, badge number 6129 with the Riverside County Police Department, made the single worst choice of his entire 11-year career the moment he spotted a black man working in the yard of a wealthy neighborhood and decided something about it felt suspicious. About 10 minutes later, he drove back around, parked nearby, and walked up to the house with his hand resting close to his weapon. When Marcus Ellison opened the door to his own home, Whitaker immediately ordered him outside for questioning, even though he had no legal grounds to demand it. Marcus, who had spent 22 years serving as a sheriff's deputy before retiring, stayed calm. He refused to leave his doorway and clearly cited his Fourth Amendment rights. Instead of backing down, Whitaker forced his way into the doorway and fired his taser, sending 50,000 volts of electricity through Marcus's body while he stood in the entryway of his own home. What Whitaker didn't realize was that the Ring doorbell camera had captured the entire encounter, every second, in crystal clear high definition, with audio sharp enough to hear every word spoken. Within 48 hours, the footage would spread across the internet like wildfire. The moment driven by bias would become public evidence, and the fallout would lead to his $6.8 million lawsuit, one that would destroy not only his career, but financially devastate his entire family. That Saturday afternoon had meant something special to Marcus Ellison. It was the kind of day he had imagined for years. At 48 years old, after more than 2 decades wearing a badge as a county sheriff's deputy, he had finally retired with a full pension and purchased the house he had always dreamed about owning. Dear viewer, before we get started, let us know where you're watching from in the comments. The 2-story home in Riverside Meadows represented everything he and his wife Angela had worked and sacrificed for over the years. They had only finalized the purchase 2 weeks earlier, and Marcus was still enjoying that new home excitement where even ordinary chores felt satisfying. Cutting the grass didn't feel like work. It felt like caring for something he had earned. Trimming the hedges wasn't a burden. It was part of shaping the home he had waited so long to have. He had spent most of the afternoon outside wearing old jeans and a faded t-shirt, slowly pushing the lawn mower across the yard, edging the sidewalk, and cleaning up flower beds that the previous owners had neglected and let grow wild. The September sun warmed the neighborhood without being too intense, and Marcus worked steadily, occasionally pausing to wave at neighbors he had only just started getting to know. A white couple living 2 houses down had introduced themselves the previous weekend. An elderly woman across the street had even brought over a plate of homemade cookies as a welcome gift. The neighborhood felt peaceful and welcoming, exactly the quiet environment Marcus and Angela had hoped for as they stepped into this new stage of their lives. His years working for the sheriff's department had been exhausting at times, dangerous, demanding, and often emotionally draining. For more than 2 decades, he had patrolled streets, served warrants, responded to domestic violence calls, and dealt with the darkest sides of human behavior. This house, this neighborhood, and this quiet Saturday afternoon symbolized everything he had worked so hard to achieve. Around 4 o'clock, Marcus finally wrapped up the yard work and walked inside through the front door. His white Ford F-150 was parked in the driveway. Lawn tools lay scattered near the garage, and bits of grass clippings still covered parts of the walkway where he planned to sweep them up after getting a drink. Inside, Angela was already in the kitchen